Oh yeah, okay, I got it. So the top you this is midnight. Yeah, sorry. This is midnight with Mika. Also known as Mouth Off with Mika. But tonight we're gonna talk about some deep things, and I'm gonna have acronym sex. All right, y'all. We here. I'm not gonna make the intro too long. I'm gonna have to rework on that intro. But
Drop
anyway,
the music down a little bit. It's too
huh?
loud. We could barely hear you. I said when you do it again, just remember to bring the music down a little bit and your voice up a little bit, so it's not.
Oh, can you hear me better
Because I
now?
was trying to hear what you were saying.
Oh
Yeah,
no,
no, I
no.
was talking about the intro.
Oh, with the intro, yeah. I don't really want you to hear everything I'm saying. It's just me talking over it or whatever. I mean, under it. It is what it is. But I'm glad that you can't hear me that good because I was just stuttering on some words. But anyways, we gonna start this off with I guess I should get on cam, but my hair not done. Let me put some, at least some lip gloss on and shit. Cause y'all on cam, I guess I get on cam.
That's why I threw a hat on. Cause
I'm looking a hot mess right now, though, y'all. So y'all gotta excuse me. I just took my hair out of the braids and I just put it in a ponytail. So I'm looking like Boo Boo the Fool.
Nothing
But
wrong with it.
we gonna get into it. I just wanted to just, get on here, talk about some things that's happening. I wanted to talk about those the Latino, I mean the Mexico fiasco and what happened there. And then I wanted to talk about the Chris Rock fiasco and the responses. And then I want to talk about uh I don't have StreamYard. Okay. Just click on the link. Sometimes you just let me just re-put the link in here because he's talking about he don't have StreamYard. Just click on the link, bro. You don't have to have it. You don't have to have it. I'm sorry, y'all.
That's okay. That's okay. Just glad to be on today with you.
Okay, so let me start by introducing everyone, and then wait a minute. Let me just make sure we can get some folks up in here because I didn't add nobody.
That's okay. That's okay. Well, I'm gonna just start off. My name is Henry, CEO and founder of News Never in the Work and Service, and I want to give a shout out to the whole news team and also to Information Age and the whole news family, and just here to see what's the current events, what happened, what went down in Mexico, and how can it be prevented, and so much more. And also Chris Rocks. I'm like, I'm ready. I'm ready to just jump into the conversation.
Yeah. So also Lex, can you introduce yourself, please, honey?
I'm Lex. I'm Mika's cousin.
Mhm.
Um, Prior military. Uh, I just here to input my input, I guess.
Let me see. How's that, y'all? Can y'all see me better? This thing don't even work. Is that better? I look fat.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh gosh, I need to get my hair done. I look super fat right now. Anyways, oh, no. Let me get my camera together. I don't know what the fuck. Anyways, um, so okay, so let me just play.
Oh, before we start, happy International Women's Day
Mm-hmm.
for the women out there.
Happy International Women's Day, guys. I guess.
Happy
Does that
International
include the
Women's Day.
transgender women? Okay, I've been on the transgender kick.
No, 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 no,
Mhm.
not at all.
Because they've been taking our identity and everything. So I'm just trying to figure it all out.
And making it seem like we're stealing
No,
it from them. So no,
no.
they don't. They are not acknowledged today.
Are you sure? Are you guys
Yes,
sure?
because we're talking about natural born. We're talking about natural born women with vaginas. Mm.
Okay. So, anyways, if anybody want to join, I added the StreamYard and the you got to click on the link or whatever, and then we'll go from there. But right now, I don't want to start with the Women's Day thing yet, but I might end up talking about that because that right there is uh-oh, is like a nuisance. Let me put my other glasses on. Maybe I'll look better because I look a hot mess, you guys. Anyways, so I'm gonna play a video, a couple of videos for you guys, and then you guys respond. Okay. So this is what I don't like this thing on my motherfucking computer. Okay, so let me share the screen. Hold on. Oh, I can't move this thing off of my computer, bro. Because I can't even see. Hold on, you guys. How do I move this? This shit is pissing me off. It's playing, but I can't get the.
Hit that button right at the bottom right.
I
I
can't
mean
see the
that
play
right there.
because it's this thing on my freaking screen. Oh, here you go.
That's what I'm talking about.
All right, thank you, cuz.
You're
It's
welcome.
this like piece on my screen that I
Have you
can't.
spoken to Latavia? So how is she
Good
doing?
morning. She was doing okay. I talked to her last night
What'd you guys talk about?
and I asked how she was doing. She was telling me that how they was houseless and how they had it in that little place and it was stank with the her brother in there and all of them was houseless and little thing together. And they were moving her from place to place.
Did she understand? Did they understand what was happening to them at the time?
No, because she said when they was had drove, they was going through and a van they was driving through and a van came up and hit them, and that's when they started shooting at the car, shooting inside the van or whatever. And I guess she said the other ones tried to run and they got shot at the same time.
Yeah.
Shahid and Zell and Eve, they all got shot at the same time. And she watched them. She watched them die.
And you helped to raise Shaid, right? Who died? Can you tell us about him?
Yes, yes. I had his mother had passed away when he was like 15, and I had him ever since then. And Latavia, he was in the house, and so she checked him as his brother, her brother, which is her cousin, but it's her brother, and her cousin is my nephew and my son. And he was a good person, and I miss him, I love him, and nothing I wouldn't do for him.
Have you spoken to Latavia? And if so, how is she
Good
doing?
morning. She was doing okay. I talked to her last night,
What'd you guys talk about?
and I asked how she was doing. She was telling me.
Wow.
Okay, you guys. I'm sorry. Let me just give you another one so you can get like a back, so everybody to know the story. Okay, so hold on, you guys. These are all updates, but let me go here.
Y'all, the details are coming out And when I tell you they are disturbing about this case of the 4 Americans who were kidnapped in Mexico, 2 of them ended up dead, 2 of them are alive and are now back on US soil. But we're about to get into this. I had to put my glasses on because we're about to do some reading. But the more I dig into this story, the more that people come forth and provide me with information, the more I'm like, so in case you don't know, these are the 4 victims from the kidnapping in Mexico. We have Zindell Brown, who is now unfortunately deceased, Latavia McGee, Shaeed Woodard, who is unfortunately now deceased, and then Eric Williams. So of the 4, Latavia McGee and Eric Williams are the only survivors of this kidnapping. So the reason why the 4 ended up in Mexico is because Latavia was scheduled for a tummy tuck procedure in Matamoros. So according to Zindell Brown's sister, who is a close friend of mine and actually gave me permission to post this, Zindell didn't even want to go. Now, I know people are saying, well, that's his relative, so of course that. There's actually documented proof, text messages, where he texts not just the people in this group, but his relatives saying that he wasn't sure this was a good idea. He definitely was reluctant. Of course, Latavia wanted to get this tummy tuck, so she kept pushing, and she finally talked everyone into going. Now, let's go to her Facebook page. Latavia has clearly wanted a tummy tuck for a minute now. So she posted this on August 2nd, 2022. Y'all know I was all up in these Mexico surgery pages on Facebook and Instagram. I was all in the groups because I needed to get this information. So she posted about this on August the 2nd. She said, hello, how was everyone? My surgery date is February 23rd, 2023. Now, if the surgery date is February 23rd, 2023, Friday was not that date. Let's continue. If you continue on her Facebook page, you'll also see that she really, really wanted this tummy tuck procedure, right? So now we have our map because I want to show you guys the timeline. So after she talked them into leaving, they left from South Carolina, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. They rented the vehicle on Wednesday. Wednesday night, they left Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Wait, I forgot to tell you guys this part of the information. There were actually 5 people in that vehicle, not 4, like what's being reported. There were actually 5, but I'm going to talk more about that in a second. Anyway, they leave Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, which is that first mark right there, and they get to Jackson, Mississippi. Jackson, Mississippi is where Zindell Brown reaches out to his sister. She had messaged him on Snapchat, asked him what was going on. He let her know that they were in Jackson. Well, not in Jackson. He let her know that they were in Mississippi. I don't want to say Jackson, that they were in Mississippi. He even showed her a video of the bridge and said, we're passing the Mississippi River. That was on Thursday when she spoke to him. So on Friday, she sent him another Snapchat. She sent him several Snapchats. That's when she started to get worried because people started hearing things about the video of people being kidnapped, the 4 Americans being kidnapped. So she reached out to him. She didn't hear back from him. The last time she heard from him, they were in Mississippi on Thursday. Now, in Texas, they actually got a hotel. This is another thing that is confusing to me. I'm just spitting the facts, but of course I have questions too. The thing that's confusing to me is why would you need 4 to 5 people to drive from South Carolina to Texas? I'm telling you guys, as someone who has driven from South Carolina to Texas myself, well, to Mexico, but I stopped in Texas, of course. Took 2 people. Matamoros is right on the border of Texas. It just does not make sense that you would need 4 to 5 people to drive that distance, right? Anywho, they get to Texas. They get a hotel in Texas. There is a Caucasian girl. Her nickname is Red. I forgot her name. They said on Facebook it was like Cheryl something, but anywho, Red drives all the way from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina with this group, gets to Texas, and now she doesn't have ID. That's when they discovered she did not have identification. You need proper ID, documentation to get across the border. It's not necessary for you to have a passport if you're driving across the border, but you do need some type of identification. She allegedly left hers in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, so she was not able to go across the border. Now, this is one of her latest photos from her Facebook page. According to her mother, she had gotten a BBL procedure done in the past, right? Now, I'm going to be honest. I know what the bodies look like on Instagram. I don't know what people request when they go to get BBLs. Maybe people like plus size BBLs. I'm not 100% sure. But according to her mother, she had done a BBL procedure and she had made this trip driving to Mexico several times. So you are correct. She had gone there several times, according to her mother. Now, she had gone to the doctor. According to her Facebook, she had the scheduled surgery for February 23rd. But according to her friends, her family, her scheduled surgery was actually March the 3rd. So her plan was they left on Wednesday. That was March the 1st. Surgery was on March the 3rd. And then they were going to come back on March the 5th. That doesn't make sense to me, especially if you're getting a surgery. But another thing that was really weird to me is the fact that when she had gone through Mexico in the past, she went through Laredo. Now, her doctor was also in Matamoros the first or second time, allegedly. Why did you go through Laredo border before and now you're going through Matamoros? It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. But that's just my 2 cents. Y'all know I'm just doing the reporting. Y'all, the details are coming out. And when I tell you they are
Wow.
Okay, so what you think about that?
First thing that came over my head, I might be a conspiracy theorist on this. I think it's organ harvest.
Okay.
Because if you've been to the doctor so many times and it's like your body look like about the same. It don't look like what the girl said, that it didn't look like she had any procedure. So to bring all these people with you to Mexico, and Mexico is a dangerous place where it is known that any American will be kidnapped going through Mexico. Nobody go through Mexico. They're just like the guy running in Alabama and them 2 white ran them and shot them and stuff. That's Mexico, the whole Mexico.
It's crazy. Okay, so what I gathered after I looked into it, I found out that she was going to get the tummy tuck, right? She didn't do her research as far as I got a glare in my glasses. As far as the doctor is concerned, right? So when she didn't do the research, what ended up happening was the doctor was shady, and he ended up trying to rob her. It was a robbery gone bad. That's what I heard.
Money.
Yeah. Lex, she done went off the screen.
All I know is like the problems that going on in Mexico right now is like I think it had some kind of kidnapping or killing that occurred in Mexico right before Joe Biden went down there.
Right.
It's like people don't watch the news, pay attention to their surroundings.
Mm-hmm.
And I know like I gotta get on the women because this was part of my mind. When I first heard this story, it's like I know women who talk about I want to get my tummy tuck and all that.
Mm.
They would not talk about getting a home, getting a car, building a future. Wouldn't even try, but they'll dream about fixing their body. Is your body that important? that you'll put your life in danger and put other people.
Right. Right. I don't. Yeah. So the one guy, they don't show his face. They saying that he's passed away, and yeah, I don't. I just don't. Let me just put another. Let me see. Mexico kidnapping victim mothers reveal what daughter told her about the killings. Um, that I think we just saw that, but let's just see. We saw that one. So,
Yeah,
it's
I think
a lot of people think there's more to the story. Um, let's just
because one way, because I'm like this, one way or another,
go ahead.
it's a win-win for Mexico because they doing the autopsy in Mexico. That mean they taking all them lungs, all them livers, they taking everything.
Oh
They
yeah,
they selling it. It's not like whatever go back to America will be just a shell in a coffin.
right, right. Some people believe that one of the people that was involved has some type of connection with the cartel.
Yes, that's the news story. That's what the news trying to make it seem. Oh, they were mistaken for drug rivals.
Mm-hmm.
What? No, no. Because if that was rivals, they would have been wiped out. It was no ransom. You feel like people gotta understand terrorist type of behavior. Al Qaeda, if they take hostages and they think about it. They want money, they want to eject them. You don't kill your hostages.
Right,
This is out of hate. This when when people pick vacations, Mexico don't come to mind, except for few cities, and that's for Europeans, Cozumel and stuff like that. Them few cities, but you don't go to no border town when you hear on the news it's a war going on. It's a war.
right. I'm gonna share this other video real quick. This is really irritating me on this. This don't have no volume, but this is the kidnapping itself. There's somebody right there. Can you see my Oh gosh, is it clicking out? You see, they're trying to drag this other body.
Yes, I'm seeing it.
Now they said it was three guys. Where the other guys at? I see her right here.
Yeah. It's like she just went in there and sat calmly. The one who sent down right there in the trunk, the
Hmm.
first might have been the first one in the trunk. It's like she just gladly sat down.
Right.
And
And,
the bad thing about it is all the cars that was right there, and I bet you no one had no video. Had no video of the kidnapping. And here in United States, I know if a kidnapping happened in New York right there in public, people is taking their cameras out. They recording everything. You got to come with masks. These people don't have no masks, and nobody recording a thing. Who cares? In that country, who cares? They poor. You got money. You coming in their country in a war zone. They need ammo. They need to live. They're just like saying, "Hey, I'm about to go on a vacation to Ukraine."
Or any other
Right.
on
even if it's not more than it seems, people need to just still remember that these people don't care about African Americans. They don't. In Mexico, they don't. There's no love. Back in the days in history, it might have had some kind of connection with the territory with free of slaves and stuff, but now the gangs, especially in California, where they use the Hispanic gangs to annihilate African American gangs, to slow it down, take over every trade in there, everything.
Right.
Going on their turf.
Right. So I was gonna show this other news outlet about the situation, and then I'm gonna move on from here.
The tragedy in Mexico. Two of the Americans who were kidnapped after crossing the border are back in the U.S. this morning. And you're looking live at the hospital where one of them is being treated in Brownsville, Texas. The other two Americans were killed. Matt Rivers is in Mexico City with the latest for us. Good morning, Matt.
Good morning, Michael. One person has already been detained in this case, but with so many U.S. law enforcement agencies putting pressure on their Mexican counterparts to find who is responsible here, more arrests will be coming soon.
This morning, 2 of the 4 Americans kidnapped in Mexico now waking up on U.S. soil after surviving this horrific attack. Armed men seen loading the group onto a pickup truck in Matamoros Friday. Their other 2 friends did not survive.
2 U.S. citizens were returned to the United States. The bodies of 2 other U.S. citizens killed in the same incident were also recovered.
Eric James Williams and Latavia Tay McGee making it out alive. McGee seen here with law enforcement shortly after she was rescued. A convoy then taking the survivors to the border near Brownsville, Texas. The 2 then crossing over to a waiting ambulance. McGee's mother describing the moment she found out her daughter had survived.
I had to hold my heart. I was thinking the Lord. I said, thank you, Jesus. There is a God.
Williams now in a Brownsville, Texas hospital after undergoing surgery for multiple gunshot wounds to his legs. His wife, Michelle, able to speak with him briefly.
It was just tears of joy, I guess, that he's alive. I didn't even want to imagine what he was going through or, what any of them were going through.
2 other members of the group, Shaid Woodard and Zin, the moment she found out her daughter had survived.
I had to hold my heart. I was thinking the Lord. I said, thank you, Jesus. There is a God.
Williams now in a Brownsville, Texas hospital after undergoing surgery for multiple gunshot wounds to his legs. His wife, Michelle, able to speak with him briefly.
It was just tears of joy, I guess, that he's alive. I didn't even want to imagine what he was going through or, what any of them were going through.
2 other members of the group, Shaid Woodard and Zindell Brown, tragically killed. Authorities finally finding the missing Americans after a 3-day manhunt, leading them to this wooden house in Lagunona, outside Matamoros. A 24-year-old man identified only by his first name, Jose, arrested. Mexican authorities say he was in charge of watching the Americans. According to her family, McGee had traveled with the others from Lake City, South Carolina to Mexico to get cosmetic surgery. When the four crossed into Matamoros on Friday, her family says armed gunmen in body armor chased them, opening fire on their white minivan. The gunmen then kidnapping the group. A Mexican bystander also killed. Mexican officials now believe the shooting and kidnapping was a case of mistaken identity. A source close to the investigation telling ABC News the gunmen may have targeted the vehicle because they wrongly believed the group of Americans were rival human traffickers.
Now, this case was solved relatively quickly here in Mexico, a country with an untold number of...
Because did you hear that? It said rival human traffickers. Did you hear?
You see, no, not drug trafficking, human trafficking,
Was rival human trafficker. That means that they were people that was trying to human traffic against their human trafficking. So they thought that the people were trying to human traffic because that's what they were doing because they're rivals.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Crazy shit.
Because think about this. Nobody go in Mexico and steal people.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't go to Mexico and steal no organs and bring it back. Mm-hmm. They bring stuff into Mexico and then it disappear. It don't go back. Like they had that fight with that woman in the hotel. That's being rivals. You feel that being hate to kill her and leave her in a foreign country after she paid for it. That's already hate. You leave your trash in Mexico. Mm-hmm. They was going to do some very, very fishy because first it's like drug trafficking, drug robbery, but human trafficking.
Human trafficking.
Because you wouldn't think about it. You wouldn't try to bring no Mexican back into the country with 4 people in a car. No room to go into Mexico and steal human beings and bring them to America.
Right.
We got to cancel that out.
Right. So they got the bodies that they wanted, apparently.
Yes.
Because typically most black men possess the O positive, O negative blood trait. Most black men. And because they have that O positive, their blood, number one, is in alignment with all blood, because that O positive or O negative blood that can go to A, B, any kind of blood. So if they have that type of blood, then if they have organs that are functional, then those bloods will be more receptive to an organ transplant.
Yes.
And go ahead.
And that's why I support Lindsey Graham. He is a senator from South Carolina. Mm-hmm. I support his proposal of sending the FBI and federal agent over the border of Mexico. If Mexico refused, I feel Mexico is a state sponsor of terrorists.
Well, the thing about that is the FBI, the CIA, and all those people, they're all involved in this. You know what I'm saying? Especially the CIA. Okay, so we got to be careful when we're including the government in this thing, right? And this is a beast. You know what I'm saying? This is the 666. You give me? It's a system that they have. Okay, and so as black people. Okay, so it's a 666 government, and then you know that black people have the 666 elements in their body, right? So, and that's going to metaphysics, but I'm not gonna get too deep. But what I'm saying is this: that we as a people, I hate to say this because we're on live and everything, but we as a people have to do something. We can't rely on the government anymore. You know, we might have people in place that we think that are our friends that look like us, but they're paid off. They're typically paid off people, and they're gonna act like they have our best interest in heart, but they're trying to save themselves. So they're gonna do whatever they can to get us on their side, and then once we get on their side, then we become the pawns in this chess game. See, when we have people that's in the limelight and that's in the industry, we can't trust none of them, none, because they're paid token Negroes. Even some of our biggest leaders that we thought had our backs really didn't because they were paid token Negroes.
But the sad part is Mexico is never known for doing them type of surgery. I always thought like the islands. When I hear people talk about, oh, I'm gonna get a BDL, a tummy tuck, and all that stuff, they talking about going to the Dominican Republic
Well,
and stuff like
Mexico
that.
is. I mean, as a female, I kind of know more. So I listen to females and everything. So Mexico is very well known for doing those procedures, but where they went is not well known. Had the girl did her research, she'd have known better. She should have went to Tijuana because that's where it's well known at. Tijuana, where you can get your veneers, your BBL, your breast implants, your tummy tucks, and all that. I guess the girl wanted to get it so bad that she just went anywhere. That's not the place. That's a matter of fact, that's a number 4 no go zone. That's a 4 extreme. So they say don't go to that area. That's not a place to visit in Mexico where they went. So the girl was desperate. I'm sorry. The girl was desperate for this tummy tuck instead of just working out. And that's another thing. Like, whatever happened to working out? Nobody wants to work out no damn more. Like, it's
Yes,
good for your health. It's good for your body. It'll get you the body you want. But you want to do it. You want to take a shortcut and spend $11,000, $10,000 on this shortcut when it don't cost you nothing to work out.
that $10,000 could be an investment for a business. Or
Investments.
if you already got a business, go ahead and be like Bill Gates and start helping people build business and build a network and stuff.
Well, I ain't gonna speak
We
on
all
too much,
I'm
but
sorry.
I'm saying that it could be money used to buy property, to buy land,
Yeah.
to really build, because we have these businesses and everything, and that's cool, what I'm saying, because we live in a corporate world or whatnot. But at the same time, the most important and the most valuable thing in this world is the land, the water supply, the natural resources. And see, we're not thinking like that. We're thinking about, oh, if I get $1 billion, well, $1 billion ain't gonna do nothing for you. You see what happened to Kanye? You know what I'm saying? These people control the money. They print money when they want to. So it's not really about money. To them, it's not about money. It's about control. It's about power, and it's about control over the natural resources. This is why Ukraine is having a war right now. This is why Ukraine and Russia is in a war, because of the oil fields in Ukraine. This is why China, Saudi Arabia, and Russia came together, because they have natural resources. This is why Gaddafi was killed, because he had natural resources. I can go on and on. This is about the resources. And the problem is, like with the Native Americans, right? Uh, they sold their land because they didn't feel like they could sell land, because they didn't feel like no one could own land. You feel me? But these others, they had another idea. They wanted to control the water, the imports and the exports. They want to control the land. Whoever controls the land has the power and the demand. That's the bottom line. And I wish I can get my people to understand this. Buying a house won't work. Buying a car won't work. What will work is the land. I'm sorry. I'm done.
Yes, yes, yes. Of all things to do, one, no type of surgery is dangerous. All type of surgeries could have its risk. We know that. But to leave America where our healthcare is like the best. To leave America to go to a place where the record, it is what it is. You might run into a good doctor or you might run into a bad doctor. It's iffy. You put your life in danger. The surrounding people don't pay attention to. People be scoping people out and people don't look around and see who watching them, who looking at them.
Right. And it's something so strange. Okay, this is an example, right? Okay, so America, they conquered Puerto Rico as a province, right? So what they did with Puerto Rico is they took all the rice from Puerto Rico. This is a natural resource now. Rice is a natural resource. Oranges is a natural resource. All fruits and vegetables are natural resources, okay? They grow out the ground, right? So they took all the rice, the grain, and left Puerto Rico destitute and sold back their same rice for 3 times, 10 times the amount. This is what America does to the people. Okay. The same thing with Africa. Africa is a fruitful land. Africa is filled with nothing but life. And what they do is, it's so strange to me because Africa is probably the richest country or continent. I ain't gonna say country, the richest continent on the planet Earth. Africa should have control over everything, but they allow immigrants to come in because they thought that these immigrants wanted to share in the fruitfulness of the land, but no, they wanted to govern the land. See, I'm too militant for this. Nobody want to hear what I gotta say.
No, let it be known. No, I'm listening. I'm listening. If it was, like if I couldn't understand it or it was rambling, I being said something. I was listening, trying to get an overall view because I feel like a lot of people we need to realize what's important, what really matter in life because popular trend, whatever trending, whatever fashion culture is going on now or later or past tense, we want to be part of it. We try to like be like the Jones, be like everybody else. Then making it comfortable for itself and everybody else. We put ourselves in danger for what we want, especially if we feel like we right all the time. That mind stage, going in front of police officer, talking mad crazy stuff, going in front of different type of people, all type of people. America, Western civilization, you have a right to do a lot of things, but with great privilege come great responsibility. Oh, somebody calling into the studio?
I'm sorry. I'm trying to call my daughter because she's supposed to go pick my other daughter up from school and she's not answering her phone. My bad. Yeah. With great power comes responsibility, but we hold the power and yet we don't use our power because, like, one thing that I do know, and I have brought this up before and was argued down, is that they say that African Americans are the minority, right? However, they do that and they put this out here as a form of control, right? They want to control us because they want us to think that we don't have no numbers, okay? And so what they do is they say, oh, it's only 13% of African Americans. But Biden himself said that in 2020, whatever 2030 or 2024 or whatever, that the European population will be obsolete, and they have to get together with the Latinos and the Mexicans to repopulate. In other words, funny how Mexico is the ones that keep killing us, right?
Yeah. So
Go ahead.
So a person from Mexico, Argentina, Venezuela, and also Brazil. Why I say these certain areas? Because some Hispanic, some is German. Argentina is a lot of German people. Venezuela is, wait, let me get it right. Italians and who else hold a colony here in America? Oh yeah, Portugal. These are the children of these colonies. These are the children of the colonizer. They colonized the area. It's theirs. It's under their control. North America is next. People got to think about this. If India, if China, a communist party, that means everybody in the country is communist. One government, one system. Everybody work for the government.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take Israel.
Uh-oh.
Every Israel citizen at the age of 18 got to serve in the military.
Mm-hmm.
What if a lot of these people that getting sent here from these countries is getting sent here by their government?
Of course they are.
Getting
Of course they are.
not just getting kicked out, but playing like they would take prisoner, because people don't pay attention to the news. They took around 200 prisoners out of a South America country and sent them to America. Not to Mexico on the border, but they sent them to America, United States of America, to get it. For the people who say, oh, that's part of America too. United States of America. Look in the news.
No shade. I agree 100%. I live in Los Angeles, California, and they have these Latino gangs, right, that terrorize African American people in Compton and Inglewood, all over the place, right? They're trying to rid us of who we are. See, people fail to realize that it's about us. They say it's not about race. It is about race. It's about who's the one that's going to lead the nations. And the Most High created us to lead the nations. I know you probably don't believe that, but He created us to be the leaders of these nations. And they want to eradicate us, but the problem is they cannot eradicate us because they cannot live without us. So they have to keep us subjugated. And I'm finna go here real quick. This is just a scripture, and I don't want to get too biblical, but I have to share this because it's been put on my heart to share this. Okay, hold on. Let me just do. This says, this is Psalms 83, verse 3 through 5. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against the hidden ones. Let me stop right there. Hidden ones. We're hidden. Why? Because they hid us. They took away our nationality. They took away who we were. We are hidden. We don't know where we come from. They say we come from West Africa, but there's like 10 countries on West Africa Bank. So you see, they can't tell us specifically what country we come from in Africa. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation. that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. We don't remember where we come from. They cut us off from being a nation. We don't have no nationality. They call us black. They call us colored. They call us African and American. We not Americans. We're African Americans. And that name was came up by Jesse Jackson, who is supposed to be our brother. But that goes back to my first point about the token Negro.
But
For
we
they
gotta remember, Jesse Jackson. He created the Rainbow Coalition, and if people look into the rainbow, that's really a sign of
LGBTQIA, the rainbow.
but
I
but
love the
behind
rainbow
but
colors. However, I can't
but
even wear
behind that
rainbow
is
colors.
Freemasonry.
I can't even wear rainbow colors unless it's identified as LGBTQIA. And if I'm not mistaken, Jesse Jackson is a liberal, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then it says, for they have consulted together with one consent. They are a confederate against thee. And you heard about the Confederacy. You heard about the United Nations, the United States. Let me just go further with that to go to Confederacy. What is a confederacy? A league or alliance, especially of Confederate states, right? An alliance of people or groups formed for an illicit purpose. Let's go to this word illicit real quick, because illicit, forbidden by law, rules, or customs. Ain't that crazy? I'm sorry. I don't know. Did I lose you?
No. It's like, let me close this off. So we got to wise up. We got to be vigilant, not vigilantes, but we got to protect our community, protect our family, because sometimes our community can't be saved. But starting in home, starting with our children, starting with the next generation, grandchildren on up, whoever you could reach and help, we gotta work together and come up with some new ways. Because I'm like this. I hear people cry, the police this, the police this, the police this. I got a little brother who a police. Because he want to make a change. You can't make a change on the outside, you gotta make a change inside.
Right. But it's like this. If it's just him in there, right? And he's not working with none of us, then it's a defeated purpose. See, if we oh God. Hold on. I gotta push pause.
It's like unions. It's like Masonic brotherhood. You could do that with your own family. When you send your family to college, sit them down. What is you say you want to go to college, or you push your kids into college? Have a full understanding what's the family goal. Because sometimes people could be for self, just want to live life. We got to understand that sometimes.
Well, here's the thing, right? And I'm not the type of person for self. However, I know that my household got to be straight before I can teach and bring out this word, right? That the Most High put on my heart. It's a word to get us together, right? I always think on a macro scale, but then I have to think, if my children ain't good, if I'm not good, then I can't do nothing outside of this home. So I have to start in the home. You know what I'm saying? Then branch my way out. It kind of seems selfish, but in order to think on a macro level, in order to operate on a macro level, you got to take those baby steps, right? You got to crawl before you walk.
Them baby steps you say is baby step. if you go in space, you can see that stuff. It's not baby stuff, because if you let's take the police out the picture. You raise a kid who's like, hey, I want to be a doctor. Hey, I'm not that smart to be a doctor. I could be a nurse's aide. The help, you feel, could say that nurse's aide could be on a plane one day and save a millionaire life, because knowing the training and pushing to learn and gain knowledge that could help themselves and help others. When you instill that in the next generation, first be able to help yourself, because you try to help the whole world and then you don't have nothing at the end. The world cannot help you because the world is big. But if you make sure that you is good in your actions, not, it don't have to be material. It'll be your action. You go to a good job for years, working good, and then you might have to leave that job and go to another state and take care of family member. And then you move back home, go to that job and say, hey, this what happened. I need my job. They're like, yeah, we love you. You had a profound impact in our life. We glad to have you back on. These type of things. It don't that small to something big.
Right. And so it's everybody, like I always say, everybody have their divine walk, right? And so, I mean, my divine walk, I worked for the government. I did all this and everything. And I wasn't feeling fulfilled, because it seemed like every time I helped someone out at my job, then it was a problem. You know what I'm saying? They didn't want me to help people. They wanted me to put people in a chokehold. That's what they wanted me to do. And I'll give you an example. I was working for Lawa at the police department, with the police department, and this young man, the scams was out. The scams mean the cams everywhere, right? And the security, it was down, right? It was down. The scams was down, and so he kept sliding his badge, and it wasn't working because the scams were down. And so he was like, I'm about to be late for work. Keep sliding this badge. So I just need to go. Y'all need to let me go. Here's my badge. Take my number down. They didn't want to. So he just walked to his job and he got fired. He's a black brother. He got fired because the scams was down. And so my job and my duty at the time was to give people, like, if they have like a traffic accident, or is there any cams, or if there's a report or whatever, I was supposed to give it to them, because by law I was supposed to give it to them, because California made a law that that information was free as long as you could prove your identity and your involvement with it and you filled out the correct paperwork. This man's documentation never crossed my desk, right? He documented. Guess where I found his paperwork? In internal affairs. Why is it? Okay, I found his paperwork in internal affairs, and I get it. He worked for law, but he's not a police. And the only type of document should be in internal affairs is if they're a police officer. And he wasn't a police officer. He just worked. Well, I guess you could kind of say he was a police officer. He was like, but he wasn't. He worked in baggage. Okay. So I was able to retrieve his report to make sure he was who he was. He faxed me over his ID and everything, right? So I was able to give him the report and everything. And do you know, my supervisor got so upset, because this means that this man can retain his employment again. But he was a black brother and he was treated unfairly.
Wow.
And he was telling me his story, and the messed up part about it is they allowed two other people ahead of him with their badges to go on and go to work.
That's why. We need. That's why when they supposed to have these community meetings every time, every year. People got to remember this. Every year, somebody turn 18 and finish high school. Every year, someone turn 35. Every year, somebody turn 45. So at 35 years old, you could run for office. Where is the people? I remember all the time
Here's
we
the
teach.
thing. So when you work for the government, and I'm just letting you know because I've worked for the government. Every employment I ever had with the government, I had to take an oath. And me, I'm the type of person that read everything. Everything.
Yeah.
So when you become a politician, there's an oath. I don't know if you ever heard of benign neglect, but that's an oath that you have to take once you work for the government. And benign neglect is to use words like minorities, colored, people of color. They do not address African Americans directly. They do not address black people directly. I've been telling people about this law that's been in effect. Let me pull that up. Matter of fact, let me pull that up. I'm not gonna do that. Let me just pull up the definition of benign neglect first. First. Benign neglect, uncountable set phrase, often politics or public policy. Let me read that part again. Benign neglect, uncountable set phrase, often politics or public policy. A policy or strategy of deliberately taking no action concerning an issue, challenging situations, or other problem in the belief that this course will ultimately result in the best outcome possible. Do you want me to read? A policy or strategy of deliberately taking no action concerning an issue, challenging situation, or other problem in the belief that this course will ultimately result in the best outcome possible. Right? So they take no action. Right? They take no action. I'm going to get the manifesto because I really want you to understand what this is. But here's the another definition. I'm just gonna read it. I'm not even gonna share the screen. This is from the Merriam Dictionary. Hold on. Benign neglect, an attitude or policy of ignoring an often delicate or undesirable situation that one is held to be responsible for dealing with. So they ignore this situation. You hear what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Let me find the manifesto that was written about benign neglect. Let me find it. I want to find the PDF of it. I have it on my okay, here we go. It was written by Daniel Patrick I don't even know how to pronounce his name. Monihem. Hold on, he was a senator. Let me share the screen. See, this important information that we need to know, and don't nobody want to know it. Don't nobody want
Break
to
it
know
down.
it. Don't nobody
Because
want to know it.
because just like a judge and a lawyer say, just because you ignorant of the law, they cannot teach you in the courthouse. You feel? So you got to learn it yourself. You got to know your surrounding, know what you're dealing with.
Right. Hold on. Let me just find the contents. This is not the one. Let me go back. Hold on. I think this is it right here.
See, what most people don't understand is when you become a business owner and own land. Back in the day, that would be called a lord, someone who hold land. Look at it here in America. If you don't own no land, you're
Okay.
not a lord, and you don't own no store, no business paying taxes to help this corporation.
I'm
You
gonna tell you
just
like
that's just
this.
an animal in the field.
I'm gonna tell you like this. That's another situation because paying taxes is illegal. The CFO of the CEO of the IRS or CFO of the IRS. I can't remember what her position was, but there's been a few people in the IRS that quit when they found out that it was illegal to do taxes because that was the reason for the 4th of July. No taxes. See, and I'm just trying to give it in layman terms so you can understand. The Boston Tea Party.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? They were fighting against the British not to be taxed anymore. I know that's what caused the Confederacy. That was the Confederate States, or what is the Confederate of the United States? But anyway,
Yeah.
I found this. This was written January 16th, 1970. I'm trying to get through this. I'm gonna just read it and you guys see what I'm talking about. Right? Wait, let me go to the beginning. So this is to the White House of Washington, January 16, 1970. Memorandum for the president. As the new year begins, it occurs to me that you might find useful a general assessment of the position of Negroes at the end of the first year of your administration and of the decade in which their position has been the central domestic political issue. In quantitative terms, which are reliable, the American Negro is making extraordinary progress. In political terms, somewhat less reliable, this would also appear to be true. In each case, however, there would seem to be countercurrents that pose a serious threat to the welfare of the blacks and the stability of the society, white and black. Employment and income. The 1960s saw that the great breakthrough for blacks. A third, 30%, 32% of all families of Negro and other races earned 8,000 or more in 1968 compared in constant dollars with 15% in 1960. The South is still a problem. Slightly more than half, 52% of the Negro population lived in the South in the 1969. There are only 19% of families, hold on, of Negroes and other races earned 8,000. Young Negro families are achieving income partly with young white families. Outside the South, young husband, wife, Negro families have 99% the income of whites. Outside the South, young husband, wife, Negro families have 99% the income of whites. For families headed by a male aged 25 to 34, the proportion was 87%. Thus, it may be this ancient gap is finally closing. Income reflects employment, and this changed drastically in the 1960s. Blacks continued to have twice the employment rates of whites, but these were down for both groups. In 1969, the rate for married men of Negro and other races was only 2.5%. Teenagers, on the other hand, continued their appalling rates, 24.4% in 1969. Appalling rates. How is it appalling to get married?
It's
Black,
like
go ahead.
like the agenda now. It's like when you look at the statistics and the percentage in the South, marriages is going down, but in the black families, the percentage is going down. With chaos, people it mess with people. People don't want to have a lot of kids and then gotta worry and stress where they make it walking down the street with the community and with the police. The community is the policies. The policies of decades. I won't say years, is decades. Decades of policies.
Mm-hmm.
We see government efforts,
mm-hmm.
government programs
Mm.
from the federal government, not local, because that's where we need to penetrate and work with local. But federal, when federal Democrats start making federal programs, a lot of things go wrong in the society.
We have to move in like a virus, but we have to have an understanding amongst us. You understand what I'm saying? But right. So now we have this divide of the black man and the black woman, and in their words, the Negro man and the Negro woman. We have this divide about masculinity and femininity. We have this divide about misogyny and feminism. Feminist.
Like we got a sports show. It's called In the Dungeon with Gab T'Challa. I shared it. You feel? Some people feel, I'm gonna be honest, some people feel that sports like football, basketball was the first division among our people because some people claim Dallas, some people claim San Francisco. Psychologically rivals. Different mind frame, different but
Right. I've
bought it.
seen football, basketball, baseball, soccer. I've seen it all create a divide. I've seen it create a divide with the gambling. I've seen it create a divide just with who I represent. I've seen people disrespect each other because of a team. And this is a Greek mythology. See, not mythology, methodology, method. Or should I say, I'm gonna talk like Jocelyn. What's her name? Jocelyn, whatever her name was on Love and Hip Hop. Medology. Did I say it right? 'Cause I've been drinking. Oh, methodology.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So what we doing is and this is no different than slavery days. It reminds me of my song Rich Slave. But they're rich slaves. And so it does cause a divide. It takes us off of what really matters. And it's entertainment. Don't get me wrong. If it's entertainment, it's entertainment. However, when it gets to the point where I can't love my brother or sister, well, I want to delete them, well, I want to block them, then that's when it becomes a problem. That's something where you need to practice self-discipline and get away from. Because why? Because I represent the Raiders and you represent San Francisco, that we can't get along. It's duality is what they call it, the red and the blue, especially out here in California. You're either a blood or a crip. Do you know how many of our brothers and sisters died because of a color?
A lot over generations.
And it's like, bro, this goes back to that white lady who did the I can't remember her name. She wear the glasses. She's older and she does these little experiments about
The woman who went on Oprah?
I don't know if she went on Oprah, but oh god, what is her name? I know her work.
Like in classroom, like she have like a bunch of white people and black people and see how and switch places.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't know her name, but I understand who you talking about.
Wait,
Yes.
I'm gonna find her.
Yeah, it's good to have a discussion about the methods.
Jane Elliott. That's her name. Jane Elliott. It's no oh, she was on Oprah. Yeah, she was on Oprah. So Jane Elliott, she do these experiments with brown eyes and blue eyes. And literally you can see the experiment. And so with that being said, that's the same experiment. It's a type of hypnosis. And if anybody listening, you might need to want to learn what hypnosis is. Everybody needs to learn what hypnosis is because you can self hypnotize. But let me go back because I'm going a little bit off top.
Yeah, because like every stage of every stage of society, if it's a feudal system, if it's an authoritarian society, capitalism society as our, you always gotta have somebody underneath. Because if everybody selling something and it's like the same, like if you got a whole neighborhood selling soaps, it'll never sell. So you got to have some people who don't have soap, don't know how to make soap, and sell it to them.
That makes sense because everybody cannot do the same thing. I get that. However, what I'm saying is that I'm not taking nothing from my brothers that's on the field. I'm not taking nothing from my brothers and sisters that's in the game because they doing what they can. But my thing is this: if you're making this X amount of dollars and you know you got it, why you not building with your people? See, that goes to another scripture where it says, you have to, once you get to a certain stage of enlightenment, once you reach a certain plateau, then you must, I'm not even saying all your money because no, but invest at least 10% of your money into your people. 10%. See, when people say tithing and all that, tithing ain't for the building, the tabernacle, it's for the church, the people, the body. So you tithe to give back to your people. That will, do you know if you tithe and give back to your people, what that would prevent? That
Look,
would prevent people stealing from you.
it's
People
like
continue to
it's like
steal from you.
I was thinking like this. How can someone help people on a grand scale and it come back beneficial to everybody?
Grand
Someone
scale.
making
I said 10%, not
yes,
grand scale. I'm not saying, oh, see, here's the thing, right? And I'm a business major. And see, the thing about it is the charities, right? Some people
that's what I'm
some
saying.
people create charities or whatever. Fine. I gotta give it up to Kwame Brown because he has a good charity where he give back to these kids. He give them shoes and sneakers. And it's another. I've seen some people that's in the community on my page. You know what I'm saying? So I know that we have it in us. However, what I want to say is that it's people giving 10%, 10% here, 10% there, 10% here. But the problem is we have to form together on that. You know what I mean? Like we have to have trust, unity, and love. You feel me?
So it was a rapper. His name is Wallow from ATL. Like he was making so much money that he bought an apartment complex and moved his family and different people in it. He went to jail, but he made the effort. I
See,
feel
that's
like
how they get you in a chokehold.
I feel like if someone is having a business and then like, hey, I want to invest my money into something else, or what they call, oh yeah, a philanthropist like Bill Gates. Take your money, buy some real estate, move people in there. Some homeless people by making a homeless shelter that's tax free, right out. You getting your money back. Oh, and the government going to you will get government grants. And by helping them people with homes, and you already got business.
Well, I hate to say Bill Gates.
No, I was just using Bill Gates because that is a known philanthropist. Someone
He
taking their
is
money.
not a philanthropist in my mind. I would go so far, and people might not agree with me, and this may be an unpopular opinion, but I would say Bill Cosby, who spent millions of dollars into HBCUs. I would say who else? When you say philanthropist, let me just get a list of black philanthropists because Bill Gates is interested in population control. So I don't really care for Bill Gates. I mean, up until the Microsoft computer, but anyways, um, when you say philanthropist, let me see. You can hear the you can hear the ice cream truck, huh?
Yes, yes.
So when you say philanthropist, right? Uh, as we're gonna say famous, right? A famous black philanthropist. We're gonna see here. Yeah. No, I don't even see any black face. I don't even see black famous.
And and and, and also something I was thinking, uh, in the process, we gotta understand when we help people, we gotta help people who want to help themselves, who want to make that effort and make that step to want more out of their lives.
So if I want to go with I would say that Michael Jackson, but he's a philanthropist, but he really didn't give to black charities much. See, and then the black philanthropists that I did find, they gave to like white um, white charities. So let me just rephrase this. Let's see what we can find. Okay, so they say I was gonna say LeBron James, but the only reason why well, he did do some scholarships and everything, but the only reason why I wouldn't say LeBron James because the school that he supposedly gave to, he didn't buy that school. That's not his school. He don't own that school. That school is still part of the government. And so that's the only reason why I'm like, okay, you still giving this money to the government. You're giving it right back to the government, the people that oppressed us, right?
But I won't deny that because if it's going towards a school that's teaching the next generation how to fish,
Right. So that's
then
basically trying to work within the system, right?
yeah, you then like a lot of people want to tear down the system, destroy the system. You got to work in the system. You got to add to the system or subtract from the system. You cannot destroy the system. Working with the system, we able to accomplish many things. Like just by him donating scholarship fund, someone who might never made it to that school have an opportunity to make it to that school and prosper in life.
Mm-hmm. Um, you're right. We have to
And
work within the system, of course, for right now. But there are people that's operating outside of the system that's trying to give us a chance, you know. So I would rather go with those people because we have to create our own system. Now, what we can do as a people is infiltrate the system. But I hate to say that on live, but that's the only way. Like, but then too, if we do that, we gotta take an oath.
even the smallest effort
Mm.
go a long way. If you cannot help the world, you might be able to help somebody in your local school. Your one of the children that you have go to school and they got a friend who might be homeless or don't have a lot of food or
Mm.
might got food, might got a home, but don't have the money needed to get certain particular things. You become a sponsor. Like, hey, I got you. Talk to your parents, see what you need, and help. You feel it take a community to raise a child.
Right.
It take a community to raise a child. So all these children run around without guidance, without parents helping them, male and female. That's where we got to start. To start anywhere, we got to start in our community.
Definitely. So that's where the steps come in at. You start at home, you start with the community, and then you branch out into other communities. We have to be a virus. We have to be a virus. We have to. Okay, let me finish reading this manifesto, then I'm going to end this line. So, black occupations improved dramatically. The number of professional and technical employees doubled in the period of 1960 through 1968. This was 2.5 times the increase for whites. In 1969, Negro and other races provided 10% of the other than college teachers. This is roughly their proportion in population, 11%. Education in the 1968, 90% of Negro children 3 and 4 years old were enrolled in school compared to 50% of whites. 45% of Negroes 18 to 19 years old were in school, almost the equal of the white proportion of 51%. Negro college enrollment rose 85% between 1964 and 1968, by which time there were 434,000 Negro college students. The total full-time university population of Great Britain is 200,000. Why are they comparing us to Great Britain? I don't know. Educational achievements should not be exaggerated. Only 16% of Negro high school seniors have verbal test scores at or above grade level, but blacks are staying in school. Female headed families. This problem does not get better, it gets worse. In 1969, the proportion of the husband wife families of Negro and other races declined once again, this time to 68.7%. The illegitimacy ratio rose once again, this time to 29.4% of all live births. The white ratio rose more sharply, but was still only 4.9%. Increasingly, the problem of the Negro poverty is the problem of the female headed family. In 1968, 56% of Negro families with income under $3,000 were female headed. In 1968, for the first time, the number of poor Negro children in female headed families, 2,241,000, was greater than the number of male headed families, 1,947,000. This is long. Social pathology. The incidence of antisocial behavior among young black males continue to be extraordinarily high. Apart from the white racial attitudes, this is the biggest problem black Americans face, and in part, it helps shapes white racial attitudes. Black Americans injure one another. Because black lives in de facto segregated neighborhoods and go to de facto segregated neighborhoods, the social stable elements of the black population cannot escape the socially pathological ones. Routinely, their children get caught up in the antisocial patterns of the others. This means that we get social. We start to assimilate with other customs. You are familiar with the problem of crime. Let me draw your attention to another phenomena. Exactly parallel. They're originating in exactly the same social circumstances. Fire. Unless I mistake the trends, we are heading for a genuinely serious fire problem in American cities. In New York, for example, between 1956 and 1969, the overall fire alarm rate more than tripled from 69,000 alarms to 240,000. These alarms are concentrated in slum neighborhoods, primarily black. So they was putting fires and blowing us up between those times. This is what he's saying. In other words, if you don't understand English, this man is saying we were blowing up different neighborhoods.
Oh yes, especially in the Bronx for the people who say, "Oh, that's pseudo," or say that's not true. Yes, in the Bronx, landlords literally would try to get everybody out the building, and blow up the building, burn it down so they could get the insurance policy, and then they'll leave the land like it is. And then now of all the neglect that city officials done, it drove the crime rate high, the poverty high. So that means the property gonna be cheap to come in and kick the people out and develop it.
Gentrification.
Yes.
And another, the number of alarms has on average increased 44% per year for 7 years. I want to get to the meat and potatoes of this shit, but I have to read this. Many of these fires are the result of population density, but a great many are more or less deliberately set. He said it is deliberately set in population
Yes, like
density.
yes.
Thus, on Monday, welfare protesters set 2 fires in the New York State Capitol. Fires are, in fact, a leading indicator of social pathogen for a neighborhood. They come first, crime, and the rest follows. The psychiatric interpretation of fire setting is complex, but it relates to the type of personality which slums produce. A point of possible interest. Fires in the black slums peak in July and August. The urban riots of 1964 and 1968 could be thought of as an epidemic condition of an endemic situation. They're talking about the people reacting to social injustice.
Yes, yeah.
Um, Let me see, because I just want to get to the point.
Yes, and that's
Let me see.
that's why I'm saying, like, people who have the mind frame of fighting the system, they wind up hurting themselves,
Mhm.
destroying their neighborhood, thinking that, hey, this is the system that I'm living in, I want to destroy it. No, you cannot destroy the system. You got to add to it and take away.
Right. I just want to get to the point. I read page 5. I read this whole thing already. Okay, page 7. Let me read page 7. Okay, this is getting to the meat and potatoes of the thing. It's on page 7. Sheesh, this is driving me crazy. Okay. So we get to page 7. I'm not gonna read the second part. I'm just gonna say the time may have come when the issue of race could benefit from a period of benign neglect. So let me read that again. The time may have come when the issue of race could benefit from a period of benign neglect. The subject has been too much talked about. The form has been too much taken over to hysterics, paranoids, and boodlers of all sides. We may have a period in which the Negro progress continues and racial rhetoric fades. The administration can help bring this about by paying close attention to such progress as we are doing, while seeking to avoid situations in which extremists of their race are given opportunities for martyrdom, heroics, how you pronounce this? Historics, or whatever. Greater attention to Indians, Mexican Americans, and Puerto Ricans would be useful. Do you hear this? Greater attention to Indians, Mexican Americans, Puerto Ricans will be useful. That means we're going to stop paying attention to the Negroes. We're only going to pay attention to the Negroes' progress. So whoever's winning, we're only going to pay attention to them. And we're going to give our attention to the Indians, Mexicans, and Puerto Ricans. A tendency to ignore provocations from groups such as the Black Panthers might also be useful. So they want to ignore provocations from the Black Panthers. The Black.
Because
Go ahead.
let's look at it like this. This the flip side of the coin. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X could have been two messiahs that the government created. As to the point that one, hey, we want some of y'all to separate and segregate, come and integrate. Some of y'all who could make it out the slum could live in these fancy homes. Some of y'all, not all y'all, but some of y'all could have the potential of becoming great. But you gotta, once you become great, you cannot stay in the neighborhood. That's logic.
You cannot stay in the neighborhood. You cannot leave your wealth to other blacks who are struggling. If you leave your wealth to other blacks that are struggling, then you have a potential to die or you have a potential to be behind bars.
Yeah.
They will muddy your name. No black person that helped another black person lived a respectful and dignified life with integrity at the end of their life.
That's
Let me,
yeah, that's the
let me just get through this page 7,
okay.
and then I'm gonna be done with this. So greater intention. Okay, a tendency to ignore provocations from groups such as the Black Panthers might also be useful. The Panthers were apparently almost defunct until the Chicago police raided one of their headquarters and transformed them into culture heroes for the white and black middle class. That's the Rainbow Coalition you were talking about earlier. You perhaps did not know on the society page of yesterday's Time that Mrs. Leonard Bernstein gave a cocktail party on Wednesday to raise money for the Panthers. Mrs. White Mrs. W. Vincent Astor was among the guests. Mrs. Peter Duncan, the rich blonde wife of the orchestra leader, was thrilled. I've never met a Panther, she said. This is a first for me. I'm not gonna go any further than that because the rest of it is. I'm not gonna say it's irrelevant. I want to say that people need to read this. I'm gonna download this. Um,
It's like this. You send you send a child to college and they go and find some friends, a brotherhood, a fraternity. That's their brotherhood now. You feel they see all the other the other people. You feel they don't know what he know. He find advantage because once he leave college, these same brothers outside of the college could get him a upper hand in society. So when that occur, that's a system in itself. That's like the police, like a fraternity, like a gang. It is a fraternity. The police fraternity union. You feel when you look it up, it say a fraternity. It's a
mhm.
brotherhood. When when people get in a community and they got crime and they want to stop it, they get together and create a neighborhood watch. They watching each other home. They see some suspicious activity, they call the police. Some people like, oh, somebody snitch. There's somebody snitch. No, snitching is a good thing at some causes. But people gotta realize that people look people look for their wants over their needs. We need to build this society up. Every day we need to build this society up and take away the negatives. It's an everyday working effort.
Right, right. I spelled something wrong.
Oh, I wanna see that Chris Rock video. I haven't even seen all of it yet.
Oh, I didn't even get to that.
Yeah, I remember you said it. I was like, ooh.
Oh my God. They making me I'm gonna stop this live because they making me redo this. I'm trying to share this file to the group. Okay. Anyways, you guys, thank you for watching and listening. Let me go and take us out of here. Thank you for joining me, Henry. I did this little show for now, and I'm gonna get up out of here. Let me get my gold book. So anyway, oh yeah, okay, I got it. So the top, this is